This started with a simple request. My wife asked me to install outdoor string lights for her garden alley, which we fondly refer to as Leaf Alley. But I couldn't just leave it at that, where the area being lit wasn't as beautiful as the lights themselves. I couldn't accept that the lights would highlight everything that was wrong with the space. So instead of stopping at the string lights, that simple request turned into something bigger. Much, much bigger. This is Project Leaf Alley 2.0, a transformation of a side alley into something more functional, more intentional, and eventually something worthy of being an Instagram backdrop for our neighbors and the community to take selfies and even hang out. This project ran from September 26 to October 28, 2025, almost a month, not because it needed that long straight, but because life doesn't pause for projects like this. We weren't working on it every day. Some days we made progress, some days nothing moved. Work, family, responsibilities, all of that still had to happen in between. So this wasn't a straight build. This was something we chipped away at over several weeks. It officially began on September 26. I asked Mang Ray to touch up the paint on the steel frame that holds up the garden shade net. At that point, it felt like a simple maintenance task. But it turned out to be perfectly timed because the net itself had already developed several tears over the months. So it wasn't just repainting anymore. We had to remove the old net completely and install a new one. We were up on the ladders, repainting the frame section by section while replacing the net above. The next day, my wife installed the 750 peso string lights. And just like that, for the first time, the space felt different. At night, the alley transformed, clean, warm, inviting, and for a moment, I thought that was enough. Over the next few days, I made improvements to the setup. I didn't want exposed wiring outdoors, so I improvised. I took a 1.5-liter Coke bottle, cut it, and used it as a waterproof housing for the outlet. Then I extended the wiring and connected it to a switch inside the property. This way, we could turn the lights on and off without stepping outside. Small changes, but they made the setup usable. From September 30 to October 4, I wasn't building anything. I was just sitting in the garage, staring out into the alley. Every night, the lights looked beautiful, but everything under it was not. Messy overgrowth, pots everywhere, no structure, no system. And the more the lights improved the space, the more they exposed everything else. My mind couldn't reconcile it. That contrast became the problem. On October 5, I finally brought my workbench into the alley, right in the middle of it, armed with rulers, measuring tape, pen, and paper. And I started looking at everything, not as it was, but as it needed to be. The walkway was being eaten up by pots. The racks were inconsistent. Some rusting, some uneven. The ground was damp. Moss was forming. Plants were growing where they shouldn't. And even the pots themselves, different colors, different sizes, visually chaotic when seen together. That's when it became clear. The problem wasn't the plants. It was everything around them. From October 6 to 10, we started building. And I didn't do this alone. Toto was there on the first couple of days, helping cut and weld the angle bars for the first 3 sets of racks. Chris was there too, throughout the build, steady, consistent, figuring things out with me as we went. And Mang Ray, supporting where needed, and eventually taking over the painting as soon as the pieces were ready. We measured, cut, ground, welded. Slow, repetitive work, but necessary. This is where the materials started telling their own story. 11 280 peso angle bars, 3,080 pesos in total, laid out on the ground, waiting to become structure. A 275 box of welding rods, slowly disappearing with every joint we made. 30 peso cutting discs, getting smaller with every cut. You don't feel the cost all at once. You feel it one cut at a time. At one point, there was a basin full of used cutting discs, welding rod stubs, and metal scraps. That basin was the physical record of what it took just to build the foundation. Then came one of the most important decisions in the build: steel mesh. Not solid sheets, mesh. 600 pesos for one 4 by 8 feet sheet, 3/8 inch thick. I bought 2 of these. We cut them based on the dimensions of each tier, then welded them onto the frames. Because I didn't just want something that holds spots, I wanted something that works long term. Water doesn't pool, air flows underneath, moisture doesn't get trapped. The racks weren't just structure, they were designed to solve problems. By October 9 onwards, everything started overlapping. We were still building racks, while at the same time, others were already being painted with 290 peso gray epoxy primer. 3 cans, 870 pesos, protecting everything we had just built. Because this wasn't just about finishing, it was about longevity. At the same time, we were moving plants, making space, clearing sections just so we could continue working. Because the reality was, we didn't have space, so everything had to happen together. Old racks out, new racks in, plants relocated, then moved again. Nothing stayed in place. Build, move, paint, adjust, repeat. It wasn't clean, but it was real. At the same time, Chris and I worked on 3 old plant racks my wife bought about 5 years ago. They weren't in good condition anymore. Some parts were heavily rusted, some were bent, some were both. So we had to be strategic. We didn't rebuild everything from scratch. We repaired only what was necessary. Because at that point, time and budget were both real constraints. With 3 new racks and 3 restored ones, I thought we were done. But when we started placing the plants, we weren't. There were still too many, still not enough space. So on October 12, Chris and I built 2 more racks. Not planned, but necessary. The project was already telling us what it needed. Starting October 11, painting, placement, and plant transfer all began, and this went on for several days. Before anything, I told Mang Ray clearly, this is not the final arrangement. My wife will handle grouping later. For now, we just need to get everything off the ground. So we started elevating the racks. At first, using around 20 old hollow blocks I already had. But as the build expanded, more racks and even the concrete seating area needing elevation, those weren't enough. So I ordered 50 more hollow blocks. 21 pesos each, 1,050 pesos in total. Now everything was lifted, not just the racks, even the seating area. Keeping everything off the soil, preventing moisture from soaking into the steel, slowing down rust before it even starts. In the seating area, I reused our 10-year-old concrete garden set. It used to be painted brick red. I didn't want to replace it, I wanted to transform it. So I repainted the sides to brown and spray painted gold on the top surface to give it that tree stump look. But this part didn't go smoothly at first. The first attempt, a 150 peso can of choco brown paint, was a mistake. Wrong type. When we applied it, it didn't adhere properly to the concrete. It just wouldn't stick the way it needed to. And right there, I already knew it wasn't going to work. So after a few days, I bought another one. Different type, the right one. And this time, it worked exactly how I imagined. It adhered properly, covered evenly, and when it dried, combined with a gold surface, it finally achieved that tree stump look. Same idea, completely different result. By this point, the structure was coming together, but the ground was still working against us, and that would be the next problem to solve. This is where the ground finally started to change. I ordered a half truck of gravel, 1,500 pesos, for aesthetics, for control, to contain the soil when it rains hard, to prevent wild plant growth from creeping into the walkway, to stop the alley from turning into mud every time it gets wet. Mang Ray and I handled everything manually, wheelbarrow, shovels, back and forth across the entire length of the alley. It took the whole afternoon. And the moment the first layer went down, the difference was immediate. The edges of the walkway started to feel defined, less messy, more controlled. By October 18, the project was already about 95% complete. The racks were installed, plants were elevated and organized. The lighting already transformed the space at night. But there was still one thing that visually broke everything: exposed soil. Even small patches of it were enough to disrupt the entire flow. And more importantly, those exposed areas became easy targets for stray cats and dogs. And during rainy days, those same patches allowed water to settle and stagnate. So instead of leaving it, I decided to finish it properly. I ordered another half truck of gravel, another 1,500 pesos. This time, not just for the sides of the walkway, but for everything. Every gap between racks, every corner near the walls, every uneven patch that wasn't covered the first time. No exposed soil left behind. With both sides fully covered in gravel, the center walkway became more defined, clear, uninterrupted, framed on both sides. That contrast between smooth concrete and rough gravel naturally guides your eye forward. Even the sections that used to feel like leftover space, hose lines, water connections, drainage areas, now blended into the overall look. Everything finally came together. The string lights above, now uninterrupted, reflected evenly across the entire space. No more dark, muddy patches, no visual noise. From one end to the other, it finally felt complete. At this point, the structure was done. The system was working. But there were still details that would turn this from functional into something finished. We added a garden umbrella. I bought a large one for 1,500 pesos. I chose green so it blends naturally with the vegetation around it instead of standing out. It gave us immediate shade against the sun and some protection from rain. But even then, I already knew its limitation because the space is rectangular and the umbrella is round. It couldn't fully cover the area. And going bigger wasn't an option because it would already hit the fence. So even at that point, I knew this would eventually be replaced by a retractable rectangular canopy, something that matches the space exactly. From the night of October 21 until midday of October 22, my wife took on the most demanding part of the entire project: repotting. And not just moving plants from one container to another. She removed them from old soil, loosened roots, replaced soil, selected better containers, positioned each one properly, one plant at a time, throughout the night into the next day. No shortcuts, no rushing. This wasn't just physical work. This was patience, attention, care, applied to every single plant. By the time daylight came, you could already see the difference. Healthier plants, cleaner presentation, more intentional placement. That part of the project wasn't loud, but it carried the most weight. By October 26, something started to fail. The hollow blocks we initially used to support the seating area started crumbling, one after the other. The weight of the concrete table and seats was just too much over time. So instead of patching it, I replaced the entire base. I found a seller online offering different kinds of pallets, various sizes, shapes, materials. But I needed something specific, industrial grade. So I drove a few kilometers just to pick them up. 2 square plastic pallets, 1,500 pesos each, 3,000 pesos in total. Heavy duty, rated to carry up to 5 tons. After bringing them home, we thoroughly washed them, then placed them side by side, forming a rectangular platform that could fully support the seating area. This completely replaced the hollow blocks underneath, and immediately you could feel the difference. No shifting, no cracking, no weak points, just a solid, stable base, built to handle the weight and withstand outdoor conditions long term. By October 28, the project was essentially complete. But this time, the priority shifted: safety. Our subdivision was preparing for a Halloween trick-or-treat, where kids would be walking from house to house, and we decided to use the alley as our receiving area. But there was a problem: the wrought iron fence. Spikes. And in a cramped space, with kids moving around, that was a risk. So I addressed it. Using 4-inch diameter PVC pipes, about 600 pesos worth, I drilled matching holes along the length so each spike would fit through, like a sheath covering multiple blades. Then I painted them with the same gray epoxy primer so they blended with everything else, and added end caps to prevent debris, insects, or pests from using the hollow tubes as shelter. What used to be a hazard became part of the system. Halloween afternoon, decorations up, kids walking through the alley, parents following behind. A space that used to feel cramped and messy now felt controlled, safe, welcoming, and more importantly, it worked. Not just visually, but functionally. When everything was said and done, all the 280 peso angle bars, 600 peso steel mesh sheets, 290 peso epoxy primers, 3,000 peso gravel loads, 840 peso PVC system, plus every cutting disc, grinding disc, and welding rod, and including the 1,500 peso green garden umbrella and the 2 industrial-grade pallets for 3,000 pesos, added up to 20,435 pesos in materials. And then there's labor. Toto was there at the start, October 6 and 7, helping cut and weld the angle bars for the first 3 sets of racks. Mang Ray was involved for about 9 days, helping with painting, gravel work, and overall support throughout the build. Chris, no labor fee, just friendship, energy drinks, and conversations in between the work. The rest of the days, it was just me and Chris, and on some days, just me alone. Total labor cost, 11,000 pesos. So all in, this project sits at around 31,435 pesos total investment. Not estimated, not rounded, actual receipts and real work behind them. And if there's one thing this project proved, it's that transformation doesn't start with materials. It starts with not being able to ignore what doesn't feel right anymore. Because once you see it, really see it, there's no going back. You either live with it or you build something better.